So, this is vlog number 6 for English 153, and since last week we finished The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison and started Zami by Audre Lorde. But this week I would like to bring back Toni Morrison's The Bluest Eye because I want to compare the way that African American men are portrayed in The Bluest Eye, specifically the father figure, and how they are portrayed in Zami. Let's start with Zami. So, as it was pointed out in class today, there are very few men in this book. It's a very female-centered book. And the few male characters that there aren't in it very much. Very few are there for more than one scene. The only male character that I can think of that's present for more than one scene would be Audre Lorde's father. And even then, as we mentioned, he's not there very often, not physically present in the book. And that's because he was working all the time. Audre Lorde's father worked long hours. I believe he was a real estate agent and also did work on the apartments. And then during World War II, he picked up a second job. So he was always working, always trying to provide for his family. And when he was there, for the most part, he was quiet and calm and collected. For example, on page 70, we talked about this today too, when the family goes to that ice cream parlor in Washington, D.C., and the waitress wouldn't serve them because the family is black. And then they walked out, quote, straight-backed and indignant, not protesting. The father didn't show any emotion there, which I can't even imagine going through that. But anyway. And then on page 67, when little Audre Lorde would take him dinner at work, and he would eat it in the closet of his office or place of work because eating was too human a pastime to allow just anyone to see him at it. Always very collected and never showing any sort of vulnerability or emotion. He's almost a stoic man, I'd say. Which reminds me very strongly of Claudia and Frieda's father in The Bluest Eye. Page 61 of The Bluest Eye is spent comparing her father's face to Winter, saying that Winter presided in his face. The father in The Bluest Eye of Claudia and Frieda has a frozen face. It's emotionless and bleak, but it's strong and stoic. Also said on page 61 that he gives us instructions about which doors to keep closed or open, proper distribution of heat, lays kindling, and discusses the qualities of coal. So the father in The Bluest Eye is taking care of his family, just like in Zami. And the only time we ever see the dad in The Bluest Eye show any sort of violence or emotion, even, is when he beats up Mr. Henry for molesting Frieda. I think he hits him over the head with a tricycle. But even that's just him protecting his daughter and taking care of his family. So Claudia and Frieda's dad share a lot of qualities with Audre Lorde's dad. They're both very hardworking. They're quiet, composed. They don't seem to express many emotions. They're strong, and they're always trying to do what's in the best interest of their family. And this directly contradicts some of the racist stereotypes that are had about African American men, stereotypes that we talked about during our Bluest Eye unit. The idea that black men are regularly out of work, unemployed, that they're hypersexual, and that they have a tendency to be violent. And we also discussed during The Bluest Eye how Morrison may have written the father's character as a direct contradiction to that, to debunk this stereotype and to show that black men are no less hardworking or family-oriented than white men are. And the similarities between these two characters made me think, well, maybe Morrison and Lorde had similar intentions when they wrote the book. Maybe when she wrote Zami, one of Audre Lorde's intentions may have been to debunk those stereotypes of black men. And I know it's an autobiography or autobiomythography, and Audre Lorde is writing about her real father and some things you can't change. But that doesn't mean she can't stress certain aspects of her dad's personality or life to play up certain things about him. And I can't speak for like what Lorde wrote deliberately and undeliberately and why or why not. But by the emphasis there is on her father's stoicism and, I don't know, collectiveness, the few times he has been mentioned thus far, it made me as a reader think that doesn't match up with the stereotypes that exist at all. So I'd like to open it to the possibility that Lorde may have written about her father in this way, just as Toni Morrison may have created the character of Frieda and Claudia's father in the Bluest Eye to debunk these stereotypes about African American men. Maybe.